Good morning, everyone. Today is day one of the Readathon, and this goes from the 6th to the 13th, and I am going to be trying to reread 3 books, although Harry Potter is huge, and tomorrow from the 7th to the 14th is the Borrowathon, so I'm actually going to be doing 2 readathons at the same time. So we'll see how much I actually read, but today I am going to be working on Alana, the first adventure. Check in, it is almost 2 o'clock on the first day of Readathon, and I'm going to be trying to get some reading done in the car. We have a hour and a half long drive ahead of us to go see some family, so hopefully I don't get car sick while I'm reading, but I am 60 pages into this and I'm really enjoying it, so hopefully I'll get some of that done. Okay. Hi guys, this is day 1 of Borrowathon. Aaron is also participating in Borrowathon.
Lightly. Beginning issues of Dragon Ball Z. This is by Akira Toriyama. This had a huge, the television show had a huge influence on me as a tween teen. So I decided to read the source material, and so I found chapters 1 through 6. And I got those, and we'll see where it takes me.
I started reading this at the library, and it is fantastic, and I will finish it today. This is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire, and this is an adorable little story. It's very well written. It's about children who come back from fairyland and can't cope with the real world, and it is absolutely beautiful. I see now why so many people love this book.
Readjusting to reality.
Yeah.
You need therapy for that. Makes sense.
Quick check-in. It's about 10 o'clock at night on Tuesday the 8th. We are in the middle of our presidential election, and it's very stressful, but it's taking a long time to finally get all the results in. So in the meantime, between checking my phone every 20 seconds, I am going to try and finish Alana because I still haven't finished it.
Hello everyone, and this is our Borrowathon check-in for Wednesday of the Borrowathon.
Yep.
And so we've got a few things we want to go over with you. I'll go ahead and start. I've gotten through chapters 3 of the Dragon Ball Z series. It's all very familiar stuff that I saw in the show very early. But it sticks very close to how the show went. The show actually added some stuff to kind of pad the episodes, I guess, to make the series longer. So I like the just faster pace of this. That kind of became a tedious thing with watching the show Dragon Ball Z, is just how much they would stretch the episodes. It's like, let's move the story along here. So that's been fun. I've rated them all 4 stars.
I thought it was adorable that you were sitting down and reading with Penny.
Oh yeah, our youngest was wanting to hear it, so I read actually 1.5 of those books with her. So
she sat there for a long time.
Her longevity surprised me on it.
I finished Alana, the first adventure, last night.
All right, the next thing I read was chapter 1 or issue 1 of Miss Marvel. I really enjoyed this. This is about Kamala Khan, and she just comes into her powers in this first issue here, and it's really an interesting take on the origin story of a superhero, just being the 16-year-old girl and trying to find her place as a child of immigrants that's grown up in Jersey City, as well as trying to find her place as what she is as a superhero, not having any kind of resources or anything. There's a joke that her home base is essentially this convenience store where her best friend works. And so this is really great. It's a very refreshing take on superheroes, and it's something very identifiable even for adults and young kids, or teenagers, or young kids could read this. So I gave this one 5 stars. I'm going to be continuing on with that for sure. I finished All New Wolverine. This one was really good too. This one is having to do with Laura X-23 coming into her own as her own superhero, but dealing with essentially replacing Wolverine in the universe, dealing with the fact that she is a clone from an experiment, And the story has to do with her running into essentially clones of herself that are being parts of these experiments and trying to help them dealing with the fallout of just being mistreated, being treated as property instead of people, and really it hasn't come to any conclusions on it, of course. The comic, it just gets deeper and deeper. But really good, and a lot of great action. Kind of violent.
Really?
Yeah. So I was actually reading this in the kids section while Penny was playing around in the library, and there were some moments where it's like, I hope the child's not right behind me. But just get another 5-star read.
Hey guys, quick check-in. It is about 11 o'clock on Friday the 11th, and I have read 2 more books, I think, since last we talked. I finished Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, I think that's what it's called, by Becky Albertalli, which I absolutely freaking adored, and that was for Borrowathon. And I read that as an ebook, and I really enjoyed reading it in that format. And then today I listened to The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss on audiobook, and this is a reread for me. Hey guys, it is the end of the Readathon and the Borrowathon, and I had a lot of fun this week. I kind of just mushed the 2 read-alongs together, just because I wanted to participate in both. So I don't have them all here in physical copy, but I'm going to run through and tell you what I read, because I read a lot of great things that I really enjoyed. The first thing I read was Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire, and this is a small book about children who stumble into like a fairyland or a magical land, like go through a magic door into this place where they feel at home, and then in one way or another they come back and they're having trouble adjusting to society, and their parents think they're crazy and they just want to get back to the fairyland. And it was a really interesting small little novel, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. And that was for Borrowathon. And then my first reread was Alana, The First Adventure by Tamara Pierce. And this is book 1 in the Song of the Lioness Quartet. And I really, really enjoyed this, and I gave this 4 stars. The next thing I read was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. And I read this as an ebook from my library, and I loved this. This was such an adorable coming-of-age story where these 2 boys are writing anonymous emails to each other. They don't know who they are, but they start to fall in love, and I just thought it was the cutest. I gave it 5 stars. The next thing I read was The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss, and I listened to this on audiobook, and I don't think I really would recommend reading it, because this was a reread for me. I read it in physical copy the first time, and I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely love it. And the audiobook wasn't as good, I feel like. The story is beautiful, but it's made more beautiful by the writing style, if that makes any sense. And I feel like that did not come across well in the audiobook form. And the last thing that I listened to on audiobook was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. And this was a reread for me. I read this a couple of months ago. And I loved this so much on audiobook. The narrator was absolutely perfect. And I forgot how funny this story was. And I actually changed my rating from a 4-star to a 5-star because I just absolutely loved that. It's just perfect. So those were the books that I read, that I finished. I'm currently in the middle of Beauty Queens by Libba Bray on audiobook, and I'm so happy I picked this one up because I tried to read the physical book couple of months ago, and I was having such a hard time because the satire is so extreme that it was really hard for me to push through. But it is narrated by Libba Bray herself, and she has different voices for different characters, and the satire is just so much funnier hearing it read aloud, and I'm absolutely loving the audiobook, so I'm really, really excited to finish that. And other than that, I started several other things. I started my reread of Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence, which I love, love, love this anti-hero. He's just awesome. And I started a couple of other things, but I didn't put a significant dent in anything else. And I really enjoyed most of what I read this week. So I had a great reading week. And I have no real plans between now and Tome Topple, but I am working on my TBR for Tome Topple, and I hope to have that video up soon. Anyways, thank you for watching. Goodbye.